You're done.
Big man ting, what's bothering you, bro? I'm done with this relationship, man. I'm done, man. I don't want to do this. Oh, she did what? What do you mean she did that? Raw. Serious. No kind of things there. Why? Get out of here. Yeah, Little Black Book Show. We talk about relationships. Yo, Little Black Book. We're gonna talk about something dear to my heart. It's called Pride of a Man. Pooh. I mean, this one is a very deep one. A lot of men can understand this one. I know a lot of women have been on the end of a prideful man. Everybody's got a bit of pride in them, but especially when it comes to men, there's a lot of things that we probably don't even realize that we have a lot of pride towards. You know, especially when it comes to like relationships, like a lot of times you find a man doesn't want to apologize. You find in situations where he actually is wrong, you find a man will try to always trump what the other person is saying in the relationship and always try to be right, always try to prove that he's right. You know, he will when he needs to issue forgiveness, he finds it very hard, but the woman will find it very easy. You know, and you realize there's so many different examples of pride. I mean, sometimes a woman can say something to a man, and a man will hold it so tight and hold it dear, and he would make sure he uses it against her. Remember you said that thing to me, da, da, da. Because men are very prideful. You see, once you understand that a man is prideful, you will become wise as a woman, what to say, what not to say, what to do, and what not to do. You see, pride is one of the issues of why men, when they get cheated on, they can't seem to forgive. But when a woman gets cheated on, she can. It's not necessarily just to do with the emotional side of things, that women are emotional creatures and men are more logical. It's the fact that pride sets in. You see, pride is the external manifestation of the ego within the male mind. Pride is something that is attached to the prehistoric, or so we say even the creation of mankind. You see, let's take a little story. I'm going to go to back to the beginning. We're talking about Adam when he was created. See, when God created Adam, he said, I'm going to create something that is made in my image. You see, God, I remember the scripture that says that who can question God? If a man was to say that, it almost becomes very prideful. Who can question me? Who can question me? It becomes very prideful. See, we have traits of God, but when we tend to abuse the traits of God. See, the Bible says that our anger doesn't bring a righteousness, but God's anger is a different story. You see, we may have traits of God. Doesn't mean that we know how to use those traits very well. Doesn't mean that necessarily it brings a righteousness when we have those traits. So what I'm saying is that we're in the same way, because we are made in God's image, right? So when God made Adam, he made him as a forefront runner. He made him as the joy that to behold. He made him as almost, you can almost say, as in spite of Satan, to say, listen, I've made man and I've given him dominion and power over all the earth to subdue it, and Satan, I'm not giving you nothing. Alright? I'm gonna make these people great through this man. Alright? So in a sense, when man was made, he's made as the first and foremost. You see, have you ever noticed that when you're the older sibling, those of your older siblings, or those who have been put in charge, when someone tries to usurp your power, what happens? You instantly become defensive. Why? Because you've been given an authority, and you don't want that authority to be taken away. And so it can become a very prideful issue. You can easily abuse the authority you've been given. You see, Adam also in the same sense had an authority, in the sense that he was meant to lead the woman, but you can abuse that and it can become prideful. What am I saying? Look at the story of Adam and Eve very carefully. I want to give this example. First of all, Adam was given the command, do not eat the fruit from the tree, but Eve wasn't given it. Adam was meant to guard and safe keep Eve. That was his role, to protect, to serve, and to hold dear what he called as my bone and my flesh, right? You see, even when he said, this is my bone of my flesh, like, the way he said it with so much pride, not pride in the negative sense, but pride in the sense that I'm happy, yay, this is something great that God has made. Good, that was good in the beginning. But then, when Eve ate the fruit from the tree and they were hiding, when God said, Adam, where are you? He said, I'm hiding. And then he said, what? He said, who told you you're naked? And what did Adam do? Instead of Adam being honest and saying, listen, God, I disobeyed you, what did he do? he shifted the blame onto the woman. You see, pride comes before a fall, the Bible says, but pride also helps an individual to negate the guilt onto somebody else. Have you noticed when you're about to be, because the whole point of one definition of pride is that it says pride is the self-importance of one's position, and then it's a consciousness of one's dignity. You see, when you're about to be in trouble, your pride will come and tell you, listen, Charlie, don't get yourself into any trouble. Because the moment you get into trouble, this will happen. And you can't have that, because then they'll be cussing you. And when they start cussing, you're going to get angry. And when you get angry, oh, blah, blah, blah. And it all escalates. You see, it all begins in the ego. You see, that's what I said, the pride is a manifestation of the ego, the thinking that happens behind the scenes. And so the pride is the external manifestation of that. So when Adam had realized that Eve had eaten the fruit from the tree and he had been given that God was coming to come and was probably going to nuke him, he thought, no, I can't take the blame for this. This ain't my fault. But read the scriptures properly. You realize that Adam was standing right next to Eve when Eve was eating the fruit from the tree. So when Eve was actually talking to the snake, he was right there. He should have stopped it, but he didn't. He's a man. So what did he do? He negated the blame onto the woman. You see, in the modern era that we have men always negating the blame onto the woman. And men seem to negate that responsibility of taking the responsibility of their actions and shifting it onto the woman. A lot of relationships are breaking down because a lot of men are prideful, and I know a lot of women are going yeah, but some of you are prideful too, so you check that too. But I'm speaking to the men because I want you to understand that some of you are very prideful. Even myself, I've had to check myself, and God has checked me on a different level about my pride. Because I have a lot of pride, I didn't realize that. When it comes to being blamed with situations like even having arguments within your relationship, you see, you'll realize one thing, when you have a relationship, that the man struggles to say, it was my fault. Unless it's 100% his fault, he's not going to say it's his fault. No, it was the girl's fault, man. No, she did this, that, she said that. Oh, but, no, if I wouldn't have done that if. I wouldn't have done this if. I wouldn't have done this if. You see, those ifs and buts are the ones where pride has begun to set in. And I know a lot of people are agreeing right now because you've been there. You understand what I'm talking about. But I want us to focus on Adam and Eve, because when Adam blamed Eve, Eve didn't blame Adam. See, pride didn't begin to get her at that particular time and moment. No. Pride didn't get her at that moment. No. Pride didn't get her at that moment. No. She realized, oh, this is a mistake, and we are about to be in trouble. What did she say? No, the snake has beguiled me. It has deceived me. She truthfully and rightfully understood that she had been tricked by the snake. You see, when women make a mistake in their relationship and things are going awry, they apologize. They forgive. They tell you, listen, it was my fault. Even when it wasn't their fault, they take the blame. Just like Eve had to take on the blame of Adam when it really wasn't all her fault. Now, don't get it twisted and say, oh, God punished her. No. God punished both of them. So don't get it twisted. I'm not what I'm saying. I'm saying this. That Eve rightfully understood who was to really blame. But Adam didn't take on the blame. You see, Eve didn't negate the fact that she did it. She just said that I was deceived. You see, she didn't say, the reason why she said deceived, because it wasn't disobedience in the sense that she wasn't told the command. Adam was. You see, in a relationship, the man is the head, and he's the Bible says after Adam and Eve sinned, what happened? The fall. You see, pride comes before a fall. Pride came and then a fall. See, in Adam and Eve, what happened? They fell after prideful actions. You see, so when we're talking about in a relationship, a lot of things happen in relationships where you need to forgive, but the man finds it very difficult to give. And women are very good at forgiving. They'll forgive, but it gets to a point where even they have to give up and say, listen, you got to take some blame. And when the man doesn't want to do that, things get even more peak. I'm just letting you know, some of you have got pride in you. Your woman will say something like, listen, get a job, you're being you're a bit of a bum. And she might have said it in an attitude and a tone which kind of hurt you, but you've taken it to heart now, and you're holding on to that word. Oh, she called me a bum. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. I get you. Alright, come back in the next 2 weeks, bro. What are you going to say? I've got a job. What are you saying now? Oh, what, you call me a bum? Yeah, I was but pride. Pride has beset you. Have you not noticed? Pride has got you. Have you not noticed? Pride is what set Satan and made him try to ascend onto the throne, thinking that he was self-important, thinking that he was above God. And so, in the same sense, some of you are thinking that you are above your relationship, that everything that you do is right and another person does is wrong. No, 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 no. That thinking itself is wrong. You see, someone who's prideful always thinks they're right, and when you're always right, you are wrong. As someone else said to me, if you always want to win every battle, you will lose the war. You see, kings and queens are very smart in the olden days. They chose what battles to go into in order to win the war, because you can't go into every battle thinking that you can't go into, you have to choose your battles wisely in order to win the war, because the objective is to stay on the throne. The objective of your relationship is to stay together. So it's not every beef and every argument you back it with your pride and get angry and get defensive. You see, pride also then begins to set a shield around you. See, Adam automatically said, oh no, trouble, no, 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 it's that woman who you gave me. You see how he said it? It's the woman you gave me. Man, them, it's you saying this. Nah, it's you. I ain't done nothing. It's you. You said this. You said that. You done this. But you're not checking your own. You're not checking your own actions. When a relationship breaks down and it falls, men, let me tell you something. It is you, mostly 90% of the time, why the relationship's broken down. When divorce happens in a relationship, 90% of the time, it's you men and your pride. I'm talking to you and I'm talking to myself. Listen, don't think that I don't talk about myself. I'm talking to myself as created. That I'm also prideful, and I know. So what I'm saying to you, listen, there's many things. Look, when you become prideful, you become hard of hearing. You find it difficult to listen to the other person's point of view, and you're just yapping. You're just talking, son. And when you're always talking, you're not listening. When you're not listening, there's a breakdown in communication. When there's a breakdown in communication, your relationship ain't going to prosper. When you're a prideful person, it's hard to say sorry. We spoke about that already. You find it difficult to say sorry. And you see, sorry can go a long way. Some of you don't know how to say sorry. Maybe your parents didn't. Maybe your parents were very harsh with you. Maybe your dad was very harsh, and you never said sorry to your mom. So you're copying that way. But break out of that mold. Say sorry. It can go a long way when you are in the wrong. Pride always wants to be right, because that's what pride does. It always wants to be right. Pride always wants to be correct. Pride will actually make you boast when there's no need to boast. So pride will make a man boast around his boys that he's got the best woman going, but when he's actually in a relationship, he's not even treating that woman like the best thing going. So you just boasted for what reason? You're not backing it up actually truthfully behind the scenes, but out in the open you're like, yeah, I got the best thing. What? Because she's the longest, maybe she wants the most prettiest. What? She got a back off, maybe she got a body of figure 8. You get excited, but when you're behind closed doors, you're not backing it. Pride. Pride will make you argumentative. Because of the defensiveness, because you don't want to take on blame, you shift it, negate it, and you become argumentative. You don't want to lose a battle. You don't want to be wrong. You don't want to be shown up. You see, it's all about the ego. The ego doesn't want to be hurt. You see, so when it doesn't want to be hurt, it becomes defensive, and that shell it manifests itself externally as pride. Pride will make you forget that you're actually in a relationship. Pride will make you think that really and truly, like, it's just, sometimes it's just me. Like, I'm the one that's holding this relationship down. I'm the one that pays the bills. I'm the one that, goes to work 9 to 5. I'm the one that, when this goes wrong, I fix it. You forget that it takes 2 to tango. And there's 2 of you that need it in a relationship. Man, then, pride. Listen, your pride, it gets a hold of you. Some of you, listen, your girl could just be talking to another dude and she will apologize. Says, listen, I was just talking to her. He's a friend of mine. And she's apologized. And still, your pride is saying, listen, bro, don't have that bad. And it turns to a massive beef and argument for no reason. Pride can make you vindictive in your words. You see, in an argument, it happens in a relationship. We argue, we debate, we get antagonized, we become frustrated and irritated by each other. But pride will make you vindictive. You see, in arguments, there's a level you don't go to. There's a level you don't say. You just don't say some certain things. And some of you men will do it and say it because you are prideful. You want to show that you're top dog. It's all about pride, showing I've got the bigger chest. I'm the one, I'm in control. I'm the alpha male. It's pride. And your pride will kill relationships. I'm letting you know, pride will kill a lot of relationships. A lot of relationships that don't work out is because of your pride. I'm mentioning it again just to let you know, reiterate. I'm for women, I'm for men. I want people to, not like for men like in that way, but you know what I mean? I'm for for people to understand and become wise, and to sharing of knowledge becomes wisdom unto men. So I'm just backing both sides and let you understand that sometimes I talk about women, but sometimes I got to talk about the men. Some of you guys need to fix up. Um, Pride, makes you go on power trips. Because you're thinking that you are the one who does everything, and so pride will get you. A bit like Samson. You realize that Samson became prideful. You didn't check it. See, Samson got to a point where he thought that the power was his. He became prideful. One of the definitions of pride, true definition, is to exist and think that you yourself are a god. See, pride like that. That's where Satan started. Pride like that, Samson had, because he thought that the power was his. So he wasn't caring what Delilah was even asking him. Like, listen, what do I have to do to make you weak? And 3 times this guy did it. He said, no, do this, do that, do that. Why did he do it 3 times? Because he wanted to see that. He wanted to show to her, listen, I can break out anything. I can do anything. I got the power. But you ain't got the power. It's God who gave you the power. Yeah? Sometimes your relationship, no, it's not you holding the relationship. You'll be surprised. Just because you're running around a lot doesn't mean you're doing a lot of work. Just because you're running around doesn't mean you're efficient. You see? So don't think that you're in a relationship by yourself. Don't think that you are holding it down. Having many women as well. It's pride. Some of you men treat women like trophies. It's pride. You think that you're going to be, what? There's 2 forms of this pride here. One, you're showing off to other men. When you let them know that, obviously, I'm top dog, I'm an alpha male. 2, the pride is that you actually hurt. And it's your way of defending yourself. You don't want to get hurt, so you pridefully choose many different women, sleep with them, impregnate them, some of you do. Plow them to the hills. What for? Pride. You're hurting. But that's the only way you know how to exhibit your truthful feelings. Painful. Pride will stop a man being emotional, or a man from actually truly expressing how he feels. See, this is one of the hugest things. Men find it difficult to express how they feel because this is the link here. Pride is the self-importance of one's position, right? And then pride is also the consciousness of one's dignity. See, because man's got pride, they are conscious of their dignity, and their dignity is linked to the fact that they can't be emotional too much, because then it will be perceived as that they are being weak. Pride. You're not weak because you explain how you feel. You're not weak because you tell your girl, listen, that hurt me. You're not weak. You're not weak because, blood, you cried one time over a situation. Listen, let me tell you something and be real. Every man who has loved a girl truly has cried in their pillow when they broke up. Let me tell you that for real. You have cried in your pillow. You've shed tears. If you truly loved her and you broke up, you cried in your pillow. Sorry. If you're not, then you didn't love her. It's right, it's fine. It's a rock. Have a lovely day. But that's true for the matter. Pride comes before a fall. I just want to let you know. And because God made Adam in the beginning and made him a forerunner and made him the pride of his work, man took on the image of God but abused the pride and turned it against what God had made it for. So men have pride in them, and they abuse that power of the fact that they are meant to be the ruler in the relationship or the head of the relationship, and then it becomes a part of them. And what happens? Then they negate all responsibility. Have you noticed? Even when the man cheats, he will make an excuse, and then he will put the blame somehow on the woman. Have you noticed? Women will take the blame. Why? Because Eve also took the blame in the Garden of Eden. Pride comes before a fall. Men, begin to break down your pride, understand your pride, and then begin to let Christ handle that pride. Take that pride away, man. It's not good. It's not helping you. Alright. Deuces. Pride of a man? Check you.
You're done.